Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Anna Manuel. Every corner you turn in Elmira, there's a bit of Mark Twain history. And now a revitalized space features the history of the Elmira area and one of its most famous residents. Our Maggie Hall took a tour of the museum.
The Mark Twain building behind me used to be one of the most bustling and popular hotels and convention centers in New York State. It even had a visit from one of the Kennedys. So join me for a tour of the Mark Twain Hotel Museum right inside the building. Samuel Clemens, otherwise known by his pen name Mark Twain, married an Elmira local, Olivia Langdon. He wrote some of his most famous novels in the area, and many buildings and structures are named after him. The Mark Twain Hotel was one of them. The 8-story former hotel now houses LECOM students and others in apartments. In days gone by, it was one of the most luxurious hotels in the area. It can be found on the corner of North Main Street and West Gray. In its heyday, it featured a large ballroom and was a hub for weddings and conventions. In the early 1960s, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. used the hotel as part of his campaign for Senate. The museum inside can be accessed through an unassuming door on North Main Street. Inside, you can find artifacts from the hotel's prime, old matchboxes, brochures. You can even see what the rooms would have looked like back in the day, rooms that had rates starting at $2. Sadly, the 1972 flood decimated this historic building, and it was threatened with demolition. Thankfully, it was saved by an Elmira contractor who turned it into offices. Now, Capriati Properties owns the building and is dedicated to preserving its artifacts and its history. If you have time this weekend, go to North Main Street and check out the Mark Twain Hotel Museum. And for the very last time, Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Elmira.
A Rochester man behind bars at the Schuyler County Jail after fleeing from police, according to police. 41-year-old Jason Boswell arrested and facing multiple charges, including criminal possession of a weapon, resisting arrest, unlawful fleeing of a police officer, and reckless endangerment. Authorities report he refused to stop for an officer, resulting in a police chase across the county. Officers say they eventually had to use spike strips to stop Boswell's vehicle. Bradford County commissioners have proposed closing down the county's library. Commissioners have cited budget concerns and have stated that the library is not used enough. Local librarians and library goers say differently. There is no clear word on when a decision will be finalized. Eldridge Park will soon be closing down for the season. The winter close down will include deconstructing the rides and taking care of other structures on the property to winterize them. The park has the help of Elmira College students with this process, along with city employees. While the attractions and most buildings on the premises will be closing down, the fields and trails in the park are open year-round from dawn to dusk. A PA school science program is receiving critical funding. The Athens Science Olympiad program received a grant donation from Valley Energy to cover equipment costs. The science program has over 45 students involved. They compete against other schools all across the country in areas such as biology and chemistry. The grant money will allow the program to purchase science equipment, supplies, and allow them to travel to competitions. A new poll shows President Biden needs to shore up support for his re-election bid, showing him in a dead heat with former President Donald Trump. Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
Bad news for the Biden White House. A new national poll shows support for the president is dwindling, with his approval rating at 39%. Nearly half of registered voters say that any Republican presidential nominee would be a better choice than Biden in 2024.
It's a real worrisome sign if you're a Democrat.
In hypothetical matchups, the president is neck and neck with most GOP opponents, including Donald Trump. However, Nikki Haley is a notable exception. The poll has the former South Carolina governor beating Biden by 6 points.
There are a lot of Democrats who would tell you that she's probably the candidate they're most scared of. They will also tell you she's probably not going to be the nominee.
Many voters say they're concerned about Biden's age and his ability to serve another full term. The economy is also top of mind.
I think he has the everyday people's best interests in mind. Everything has gone up, electricity, groceries, fuel, housing, everything has gone up.
It's just terrible the way everything's going with it.
But the Biden campaign is fighting back.
Today, inflation is down to 3%.
With new campaign ads focused on easing voters' minds about the economy and his leadership.
That's the quiet strength of a true leader.
A 60-second ad highlighting his high-stakes trip to Ukraine will air in battleground states this weekend. Meanwhile, Trump's legal troubles are gaining him support. The special grand jury in Georgia released its full report today, which revealed dozens of names who were considered but ultimately not indicted, including Senator Lindsey Graham and former Senator David Perdue. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
The search for an escaped murderer in Pennsylvania has entered its second week. Authorities in Chester County continued their land search for Danilo Cavalcante. He escaped from the Chester County prison on August 31st by scaling a wall. He's been spotted at least 8 times since, but has evaded capture despite the massive amount of law enforcement looking for him. On Thursday, someone matching his description was seen running near Longwood Gardens. That's a popular botanical gardens destination. Cavalcante was convicted of murdering his ex-girlfriend. He is also wanted for another murder in Brazil. The IRS announcing new efforts to crack down on delinquent millionaires. The agency says it will aggressively pursue 1,600 millionaires and 75 large business partnerships that owe hundreds of millions in back taxes. A massive hiring effort and AI research tools are expected to play big roles in identifying wealthy tax dodgers. The IRS announcing back in July that it had collected $38 million in delinquent taxes for more than 175 high-income taxpayers in the span of several months. A team of academic economists and IRS researchers found in 2021 that the top 1% of U.S. income earners failed to report more than 20% of their earnings to the IRS. Still ahead, we have your weekend forecast. Plus,
wildfire cleanup on Maui continues. I'm Marianne Rafferty with a look at recovery efforts and how wildfire drones could help save homes in the future. That's coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Yesterday was our 4th day in a row hitting that 90-degree high temperature in Elmira, where by the end of the day, thunderstorms are starting to change up that pattern. At about 0.3 of an inch of accumulation for the Elmira Corning area, and then looking at rain totals across the region, ranging from just about a few tenths of an inch upwards of that about 1/2 inch, was dependent on where we had some downpours. Now, that was yesterday evening and overnight's threat. We did fall underneath some more of those scattered showers, bringing some of those brief downpours. So we'll keep an eye on some of those rainfall reports, but what we're seeing is that we still have a very strong southerly flow in place. Now, it's not as warm and as humid as it was earlier this week with those drier conditions, but we're still seeing that southerly flow bring a very moist and rich atmosphere up through the area, and that's what leads to that potential that any shower can even lead to a heavy downpour, bringing some isolated flooding, and then also noting that the warmth can then include some instability that leads to stormy weather. So we're going to continue those conditions into the weekend. You're still going to feel that stickiness potentially even through early next week before we'll get a stronger cold front that's expected to kick out some of that feel. But we will trend to talk about staying active. We'll have some storm chances we're watching Saturday evening. By Sunday, we're going to see that we're going to be turning more of a showery potential by the end of the day, holding that through Monday morning, and then we'll get a quick break before that next system with a stronger cold front will come Tuesday into Wednesday. So as we head into our Saturday, note that there is a marginal risk that has returned. So that's a level 1 out of 5. And the main risk that we're watching when it comes down to any storm that could create some severe capabilities will be the potential of some damaging wind gusts, as well as some of those localized heavy downpours. So as we head into our Saturday, we again start off the day with some potential of even seeing some areas of some sunshine, but that's only going to create some instability, or we'll see that as we head by the end of the day, those storms start to pop up. More of an isolated to scattered threat, but again, any storm could produce that potential for some gustier winds, potential some small to large hail. Now, Now Sunday starts off dry, but then we'll see that moist flow continues to move in, and that will give us some of those rain showers. So between the potential of some heavy downpours and showers spreading into the area, accumulation ranging anywhere from about 1/4 of an inch, even some areas to the south up to that 3/4 of an inch to an inch possible, really will be dependent on where some of the heavier showers will lie on Sunday and where some heavier downpours could occur from some thunderstorms that we've been experiencing really even from today and into our Saturday. So we'll keep an eye on rainfall amounts, especially as we stay under an active weather pattern. That could mean that there could be some greater risk for some flooding concerns. So we are looking at pretty seasonable temperatures, but between the battle of cloud cover but still see a humid atmosphere, we really will be teetering on still feeling like summer, but getting some relief in places. We will see that generally temperatures are slowly knocking back, staying near seasonal there into those 70s, battling some of that cloud cover through Tuesday. But as mentioned, we'll have a stronger system that will bring us some more cooling into the end of the week.